Before we get started, I want to dedicate some time to our sponsor Amino, a social media platform built upon countless communities tailored to your own interests. For example, as fans of Fate Grand Order, you can get together in FGO Amino to share the latest news, fan art, event guides, and everything else FGO related. My personal favorite feature in FGO Amino is the variety of public chat rooms, such as the Gil Enki fan club. I am a huge fan of Gilgamesh and Enkidu, so being able to see things shared by like-minded people in a dedicated chat room is pretty awesome. So please check out Amino, which is available for free on both Android and Apple devices. As a personal thank you for those who do so, I'll give the first 20 of you an opportunity to befriend me on Fate Grand Order. All you have to do is download Amino to your Android or Apple device, join FGO Amino, go to my profile and post on my wall both your friend ID and which FGO version you want me to add you in. Links will be provided down below, so please check out Amino and have fun. This has been a video I have been planning for quite a while now, so it's pretty exciting finally getting it out of the way. Now before I go down my list, I must set down the criteria so you understand exactly why certain characters are not included. First off, I will not include any servants who had major appearances in other major Fate series as of when this video is up. Keyword is major, so little comedic spin-offs or small quick cameos do not count. Otherwise, this list will be rather predictable if you have been around my channel for a while now. Hence the title specifying Fate Grand Order, not Fate-verse or Nasuverse in general. Secondly, I will not include different iterations or personas of the same character. So even though Caster Gilgamesh is FGO exclusive, he will not appear on the list since he is just another form of Gilgamesh, my favorite character in Fate period. Of course, that means this list will not include swimsuit servants, most altars, and anything of the sort. Now that that is out of the way, allow me to let you guys know who is my top 5 favorite Fate Grand Order servants as of 2019. And if you want, share yours in the comments down below. Alright, let's get started.
サーバント、アベンジャー。召喚に応じ参上しました。どうしましたその顔は。さ、契約書です。
Right, so this was rather predictable because I'm pretty sure at least 90% of every master likes Jalter. And I know what some of you are already thinking. I literally just specified I wouldn't include different iterations of the same character. So why is John Alter part of the list when she is, well, John d'Arc's Alter? Well, that's because she is technically a totally separate, independent character from John. Yes, while she does have the same physical features, voice, memories, and what have you as normal John d'Arc, she is fundamentally a totally different character as she was not born from the Grail as a result of the original John. Rather, John Alter is a being created by the greatest cool sick desires with the help of the Holy Grail. Similar? Yes. The same? No. Even the game points out that John Alter is no ordinary Alter. So yeah, kind of a cop-out, but hey, fight me about it if you have a problem with it. Although she is one of the most popular servants in Fate Grand Order, I had to put Jalter at 5 since I feel like her being on the list was again rather predictable. However, let me say this list is in no particular order, aside from number 1. Now, as for why I like Jalter, well, it's a combination of things. Despite being a recoloring of the original John with slight differences, I find her design to be a nice spin on the original John, whose design I already liked. And even though I'm not a big fan of the Tsundere type character, I can't help but find Jalter's personality somewhat endearing, funny, and even cute at times. Of course, it should go without saying that she is an absolute crit monster in Fate Grand Order. One of the best buster servants, could even go as far as saying one of the best offensive servants in FGO history. And yeah, her role as a strong servant has kind of dwindled with the rise of more quick-based teams and the favoring of more utility-based servants in Fate Grand Order JP. Nonetheless, Jalter is still a great unit to have if all you need is raw power. So Jalter is like the complete package. Visually appealing design, interesting backstory, endearing personality, and a great offensive unit in-game. It is no wonder why Jalter is an extremely popular character in the franchise.
新面武蔵守藤原の春信ごめんやり直しサーバントセイバー新面武蔵ここに水山面白おかしく過ごさせてねマスター
Admittedly, when Miyamoto Musashi first came out in Fate Grand Order JP, I didn't try too hard to get her because at the time, I was in an almost 2-year-long quest to reunite Gilgamesh with his wife Arturia, so going after other sabers was out of the question. And even when I did get Musashi during the Shimosa Epic of Remnant banner, I was actually going after Tomoe Gozen to reunite King Gilgamesh's Babylonia team. Yes, a lot of my gacha choices have something to do with Gilgamesh. But don't let this distract you from the fact I really like Musashi. Designed by Koyama Hirokazu, who is also responsible for the designs of Scathach and Medea Lily, Musashi's design is absolutely mesmerizing. That and being one of the few servants to have her own unique mystic eyes is nothing short from badass. According to the game, this form of mystic eyes that she possesses is called the Heavenly Eye, an ability that basically forces her body and soul into achieving a single goal. So if there is, let's say, 14,605 possible ways she can handle a fight, she's able to narrow everything down to whatever specific goal she has in mind. Does this mean she is unstoppable? Not necessarily. Servants such as Yagyu and fan favorite Kojiro has been able to keep up with her just fine. Nonetheless, the concept of the Heavenly Eye just sounds sick. While Musashi is kind of in the same boat as Jalter as being somewhat of an overshadowed offensive servant in FGO JP over the past year, I still find Musashi to be an incredible unit who's still both fun and effective to use.
よう大将、また会ったな。ライダー金時、高速で参上じゃん。峠を攻めるかい？それともハイウェイで音速でも越えてみるかい？
Now I'll be honest, initially, I actually didn't like Sakata Kintoki that much, mainly because of his design. Designed by Hanjo Raita, a relatively well-known doujinshi artist, the first things that I thought of upon seeing him for the first time was a buff version of Armin from Attack on Titan and He-Man. To this day, I still find myself calling him Buff Armin around friends and family who play Fate Grand Order as well. Basically, back then, I found him kind of an eyesore. It is not until I inadvertently pulled him trying for Gilgamesh when Kintoki started to grow on me. Of course, when I got him, I was kind of disappointed since, again, I wanted Gilgamesh, but I said fuck it, might as well train him, and from then on, Kintoki has become a favorite of mine to bring to almost every quest during the earlier years of Fate Grand Order. His NP charge skill and his exceptionally powerful Noble Phantasm made earlier missions extremely easy. The more I used him, the more I wanted to know about him, reading his Nasuverse lore, translation of his lines, and so on. Realizing how childish and how much of a bro he is made me appreciate pulling him more and more. Then his Rider version came out. Now with a totally different hairstyle, Kintoki Rider had a design that no longer reminded me of Armin or He-Man, but he kept both the same personality and the powerful Noble Phantasm that I loved very much. I relied on both of his forms so much that his Berserker form was one of the first servants I ever Bond 10'd, and his Rider form is one of the few servants I decided to grail when the mechanic was first introduced in FGO JP. Within a year, he went from a character I didn't really like or care about to someone worthy of being one of my favorite servants in Fate Grand Order history.
葛飾北斎、しがない学校さん。お手前様がマスター殿で？はあ、なかなか絵になる御仁だ。ま、勝手気ままにやらせてもらうさ。
Before I go any further with this, I need to clear a certain confusion some of you had in a previous video. When I went for Katsushika Hokusai a month or so ago, I stated that the girl is not actually named Hokusai, and the octopus with her is the actual servant of the name. Despite what I said, some people swore up and down that didn't matter because the girl's name was Hokusai as well. Just to clear this little misunderstanding, no, the girl's name is not Katsushika Hokusai, but rather Katsushika Oi. Now, you would be correct in calling them both Katsushika, but you would be wrong in calling them both Hokusai. However, for the sake of the video and the people watching who may still be confused or too used to calling her Hokusai anyway, I'm gonna refer to her as a whole as Hokusai. If anyone still has a problem, again, fight me about it. So why do I like Hokusai? Well, for starters, just like some of the others on this list, her design is absolutely awesome, sharing the same illustrator as fellow foreigner Abigail Williams. I don't know why, but her facial expressions are literally the best thing ever. Again, not sure why. It's not like she's making any crazy, comedic, or unique faces aside from her getting bukakied by her father. She just naturally looks nice. She is also voiced by Yukana, who you might be familiar with as the voice actress of C2 from Code Geass, Kale from Dragon Ball Super, and so on and so forth. Definitely one of my favorite voices in game. Still kind of weirded out by her third ascension though, since it is actually her father taking over her body. So if you like that ascension sprite, then just be aware, just remember that that is a man's personality inside a girl's body. Again, kind of weird, so I normally keep her in her first or second ascensions. Perhaps one of Hokusai's most notable traits is how strong she is as a unit. Despite being a foreigner and thus only effective against other foreigners and berserkers, Hokusai's Noble Phantasm is exceptionally powerful since it does extra damage against enemies with a man trait. This includes almost 50% of the servants in the game currently. That's not even counting the countless other non-servant enemies with the man trait. In that respect, I like calling her the arts version of Gilgamesh, since the two's Noble Phantasms are similar in the sense of being effective against a wide variety of enemies, regardless of class advantage. However, before I even knew how good she was in battle, what made me gravitate towards Hokusai is her Noble Phantasm's design. Not the abilities or the damage, but what it's based on. Modeled after Hokusai's actual art, the Noble Phantasm features an animated version of the famous print. I admit the reason this appeals to me so much is very sentimental. Back at high school in my animation class, the Great Wave was painted into one of the walls, and that classroom acted as one of my main places to hang out with friends for the 4 years I spent in high school. Yes, I acknowledge fully this pretty much has nothing to do with Fate Grand Order, but I just can't help but feel a certain sense of nostalgia when I see Hokusai's Noble Phantasm. Overall, great design, unique backstory, interesting dynamic between father and daughter, and awesome Noble Phantasm both gameplay and animation wise. Now, onto the number one spot of the gods.
アサシン、主天童子。うちを召喚してくれて、おおきに、ありがとう。好きにやるけど、かまへんね。
If you have followed my channel for a while now, then you are probably already aware that Assassin Shootin Doji is undisputedly my number one favorite Fate Grand Order servant. Ironically, just like Kintoki, I actually really didn't like her at first. You see, when I first started the game, I was in a mission, a quest, a journey to get Jack the Ripper as my first and main assassin. I was so obsessed with getting Jack that when Shootin came out, I saw Shootin as a roadblock who would prevent me from getting my daughter home, a possible spook who would ruin everything. Yes, at the time I was an idiot because number one, Shootin was limited, so there's no way she can spook me when going for Jack, and two, I can easily skip Shootin's gacha. Although I don't remember the exact reason or what was going through my mind, but something possessed me to use one ticket on Shootin's banner. Just one single gold ticket. Again, she just came out, so I never saw her Noble Phantasm, I never heard her voice, or saw anything pertaining to her at all. All I saw was her gacha, and that's it. But, like I said, something possessed me to do it anyway. To use one ticket, and if I can do it all over again, I would. Love everything about her. Now, I am not the type of person to go gung-ho over voice actors or actresses, but if I were to wake up in an alternate universe where there was only one difference, one small difference in the grand scheme of things, and that difference was Shootin's voice, that she was voiced by somebody else, just take my life and bury my body where nobody, not even insects, would find me. Because Holy Mother of God, Aoyuki as Shootin Doji is perfection personified into sound. In case you didn't know, Aoyuki also voiced Okida Soji and Tiamat, two characters who sound nothing like one another. Just shows how talented Aoyuki is as a voice actress. Funny enough, even though I am a big fan of the King of Heroes, the game itself mentions how Gilgamesh and Shootin are incompatible by nature. While the King of Heroes is someone who finds value in an item's ability and history, Shootin finds value in an item's rarity and elegance. I kinda wish this game expanded on this little dynamic with a cutscene or something, because I would go absolutely apeshit seeing my favorites interact. I mean, it's one thing to see Gilgamesh and Ozzy interact, but it's another thing to see Gilgamesh and Shootin interact. Besides her voice, everything else about Shootin is godlike. From her alluring design, to her charming personality, to her silly relationships with Kintoki, Ibaraki, and Raiko, Shootin Doji hits almost every mark with flying colors. Yeah, she doesn't hit as hard as, let's say, First Sasan, and yes, she doesn't have the utility and star gen that Jack the Ripper has. Yes, if you like Buster memeing all day all night with Merlin, then bringing Cleopatra over Shootin as an AoE assassin is a no-brainer. Hell, even though Shootin Doji has the highest attack stat of all assassins in the game, as an arts assassin, that doesn't say too much. Nonetheless, if I'm facing riders, I always bring her because I like her that much. Because no matter what, Shootin Doji is always a perfect 10 in my book. Hashtag Shootin in the comments. Alrighty guys, this was somewhat of a long ass top 5 video, but I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. It took me quite a while to put this together, so please be the real MVP and hit that like button. Share if you want, because the more views the better, the more subscribers the better. Speaking of subscribers, subscribe to become a supporting character, to me the main character. Of course, if you want to, go ahead and share your top 5 favorite Fate Grand Order servants in the comments below. Maybe even using the same criteria I used. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you beautiful people later.